Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Today, coming to you live and remote from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex out here in Katy, Texas. Coming up, another guest from today's Cruise In. Konrad has his weekly lesson in the car clinic, and we'll have the rest of the stories of this week's Auto News headlines. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Konrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin and the ever-popular, famous, and infamous David Ainsley. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. We've had, I guess, about a third of the field boogie on out of here because they got things to do on this absolutely glorious Saturday. Weather is superb. It's perfect car cruising weather. And
the only thing that'd make it better is Bloody Marys.
And we're going to have some of those.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go get me one here in just a second. This is our first Tailpipes and Tacos cruise in the new quarterly format. This is the spring show that we're having currently. And this show was kind of a postponement from the December show that didn't happen because of the weather. The weather was bad in December. Then I think it was right around the 18th or 19th of the month. And that particular day, the weather took a big dump, and it was ugly, and it was canceled.
It was wet, and we knew people wouldn't bring out their nice cars.
But Stan has afforded this group a chance to win one of 3 trophies in different classes of cars. And our next winner is with us now, Brain Verdehem, owning the 66 Barracuda.
Ooh. Yes, sir. Formula S.
Never, ever see those cars on the road. And when that car rolled in, I went, oh, my God, look at that. There's a Barracuda. Yeah. Dude, back in my day, that car was the bomb. And it still is because, you just don't see very many of them.
Yeah, so they built about 5,300 Formula S's in 66. Half of them were manual, half of them were automatic.
Explain what a Formula S is.
It's a great question. So the Formula S was really it came with all the options in 66.
So it was the loaded-up version.
It was loaded up. So it had Blue Streak tires, high-performance 273 V8. Center console is one of the options that came with it. Front-wheel disc brakes, which are really rare at the time.
Go back to the center console because the standard was a bench seat in that car, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, sir. Yeah, the bucket seats with the center console was really an option. We don't think of that as an option today in the cars we buy, but back then a center console was actually an upgrade.
Yeah.
Front-wheel disc brakes. I believe it was one of the first Chrysler production cars to have front-wheel disc brakes. Disc brakes were really not an option on the Mopars back in those early years. But, yeah, I've got disc brakes, and a lot of people look at the car and say, Joe, I see you added disc brakes. No, those actually came with the car as
and that
original.
was part of the Formula S
exactly,
option package.
Part of the Formula S package. So, basically, when you got all the bells and whistles on the Formula, you got the Formula S versus the standard Cuda 66 model A-body.
So what's the history on that car?
So my father bought this car in 1972. He was a police. I'm originally from upstate New York, a little town called Geneva, New York, in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, near Rochester, New York. My father was a cop in the 70s, and they had a call come in that there was a stolen battery out of a car at the college. He went up on his police motorcycle, saw this car. It was owned by a college student out of Colorado. She had bought the car new in Colorado Springs, Colorado, drove it to New York. She didn't like the car. She told my dad as he's filling out the report for the stolen battery, she says, I don't really care for this car, and I want to sell it before I go back to Colorado. My father says, really? You want to sell this car? You got a clean title? She says, yes. He said, how much you want for it? She said, $400.
Oh, my God.
So my father said, okay, I'll be back in about 20 minutes with a check. So the rest is history. He bought it, brought it home, told my mother, hey, I bought a new car for you here. She looked inside. It was a 4-speed. She says, I'm not driving a 4-speed. So my mother didn't drive it. He put it in the garage, and from 1972, I was born in 73, so I was not witness to all this that happened. But as the years went on, I can tell you that my dad very rarely ever drove this car. Some of my youngest memories are in the back seat of this car. The youngest, one of my earliest memories. And he didn't really take it out much. He would take it to car shows once in a while, take it in a parade, take it out for a spin on a nice day like today. It's been around the Watkins Glen racetrack down
wow.
there. Yep, for a car show day they had down there. Outside of that, my dad never drove it in inclement weather or anything, so the body was in absolute excellent condition. There's zero rust on the car. My dad died in 2020. He was 84, lived a great life. He loved this car. I got the car, had it transported down here to Texas after he passed away, and I began a much-needed mechanical restoration on this car. 2020 July is when it went in. It just came out about 3 weeks ago. Did a complete mechanical restoration, so completely rebuilt the engine. Clutch, suspension, brakes, fuel, completely redone. It's got the original block inside of it, just rebuilt it. I kept it as a 273. I didn't bore it out to a 318. A lot of guys take these and bore them out to a 318, make give a little power, but no, I kept it a 273. What I did change, I went to a fuel injection. Had a Carter 4-barrel in it.
Which was standard.
It was. Yeah, standard.
Carter.
Yep, it was. And I just don't want to get stuck somewhere in this heat down here. So I also went to what else did I do? Oh, I went to a dual master cylinder. These came with a single.
Just for safety reasons.
For safety reasons. I think this was the last year that Chrysler used the single. I think in the 67 they went to a double. So even they saw the safety issue with
that. And then you
eventually.
also told me you put vintage air on it.
I did, yep.
And kudos to you for doing that and then knowing that it's your father and the history of the family. And now you've got an award for it. First one out of the box.
Yeah, this is the first award.
Yeah.
I think the car's ever got. I think my dad got a couple third place plaques
at
one time somewhere. But so this is the first time
kudos.
this ever happened.
Yeah.
That's
good for you.
So yeah, it's done. I'm glad it's done because my bank account needs a break. I budgeted a certain amount of money to restore this car, and I went way over that.
I'm just gonna
So
say.
you don't own a donut shop or anything?
No, no, I don't.
Well, you upgraded basically safety and comfort on the car, but the way the car sits is the way the car was delivered to the factory.
That's
it
correct.
still has the hubcaps on it, the paint. You really haven't modified anything. And for our listeners to know, this is the Fastback Barracuda. So if you don't know what that looks like, think of Hemi under glass.
And it's got
Barracuda.
the rear window is probably very expensive.
You know, I've heard a lot of people say that, but you'd be surprised. There's quite a few people out there that had – this is the same window that was in the 64.
Right.
64 was the first year. Cuda came out with the 64 I should say Plymouth came out with the first Barracuda a week before the Mustang in 64.
Right.
And never got credit.
No.
Never got – well, the Mustang took over, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
don't touch the glass. That's all I know.
So the 64, 5, and 6 all have the same exact window.
Okay.
Same part number. So there's quite a few of those windows around. They sell for about $500. The problem is,
It's not that bad.
you know, if a guy in Maryland has that window and he's selling it for $400, how do I get it to Texas without breaking it?
Very carefully.
Exactly.
Sorry.
You know?
Crate it up and hope it's not
the
shattered.
freight becomes more of an issue.
Insure
but
it.
They're actually around. There's actually a guy, I believe there's a guy up in the Woodlands that he's trying to sell one of these windows. I have half a notion to go up there and buy it, but I don't know where to put it.
Yeah.
But it won't
Right.
break. Same problem.
Yeah, so
Attic.
yeah.
Let
Now
the
you
heat
strap
get
it up to the ceiling of the garage. It's up out of the
Yeah,
way.
somewhere.
But stunningly beautiful car. Like Don said, when you drove in, you caught all of our eye as you drove in. Kind of like the T-Type as well. You know, it's just it's not a car you see often, but it's a car any car person easily recognizes because it has such a look to it and a style to it that's very unique.
I'm surprised as many people know what kind of car it is. I'm surprised that people even know of the early model Cudas and what they look like, because when you look at the Barracudas, it's really in that 69, 70, 71 when the performance Barracudas came out is where a lot of the attention is given to this model. It's not the early versions of this car.
Well, and that's kind of when they started tagging the Cuda name on top of them.
Correct.
It was Barracuda prior to that.
Yeah,
That's correct.
That one's.
But platform-wise, doesn't this share a lot of platform with the Valiant?
It does, exactly, sir. Yes.
So,
yes.
and the base engine would have been the 225 slant 6, or was there a smaller slant 6 was the base engine?
The Slant 6 was really the base model for the motor
So
for
the
that.
273 is, in the view
a
of
Formula
car
S.
people, quite an upgrade
It is.
to the slant 6.
It is.
in it.
You bring up some good points. So just one more quick story from the family. My brother had a 1966 Dodge Dart in 1983. I'm surprised it passed inspection. I mean, you could see the pavement through the floorboards in the back. Okay, it was completely rusted out.
It's a Flintstone car.
Well, eventually, the car had to go to the dump. So my dad needed a driver's side mirror. So he took the mirror off my brother's 66 Dodge Dart, and that is the mirror that's on that car right now.
What a great story. What a great story.
The story.
Don't change it.
Yeah.
Don't change
so
it.
So the mirror that's on there came on a 66 Dodge Dart. So to
you
your
can't
point,
tell,
there's a lot of interchangeability between the Valiants, the Darts, the Belvederes, a lot of those earlier 60s Mopars, a lot of those parts are interchangeable. Yep. There's one rolling out of here.
What are your plans for it at this point?
To do exactly what I'm doing. I enjoy car shows. I really enjoy these. I even enjoyed them when I was a kid. So I'm going to try to make as many of these as I can around this part of Texas.
There's a zillion of them.
And I really enjoy the dialogue. Car people are wonderful people. You know, I just love being out here. If the weather's good, I'm going to try to make as many as I can.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in the oil and gas business. I work for a pump company. We basically sell pumps and other types of equipment to the production side of the oil and gas business. So a lot of the production oil and gas people are our customers. I've been in the pump business for 30 years. Relocated here to Texas about 20 years ago. I'm not from here originally, but I got here as quickly as I could. So.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
This is a former New Yorker, too.
Yeah, I was Westchester County.
Oh, okay.
Born in Mount Vernon, grew up in Tarrytown, right at the base, almost the base of the Tappan Zee Bridge on the New York side.
Isn't that Alcatraz?
Yeah, not quite. And then moved up to Yorktown, up around Peekskill.
Yep. So I'm from dairy farms and winery country up there, and boy, the weather's a little tough in the winter, but the summers are beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I'm here, and I thank you very much for having me here, guys.
You live around this area?
I live in Sugar Land, Texas, just down the road. So
yeah.
This was just a quick ride up the tollway for me this morning.
Yeah. Jeff and I live in Sugar Land.
I think I used about $40 worth of gas.
Little John.
Yeah.
Boy, these cars are not good on gas.
Is it got a 2-speed in it?
No,
it's 4-speed. Sorry.
4-speed manual, yes, sir. Which it doesn't go in reverse right now. I broke a link. I broke the reverse link, but that part will be here today, and by Tuesday afternoon.
Well, you got it backed in.
That gentleman over there pushed me back.
Oh, very good.
The car only weighs about 1,800 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So my wife actually pushed me out of the garage this morning, so it pushes really easily. It's a real light car, right?
There's got to be
No, there's other stories to that. We'll leave all those alone. Well, congratulations. Thank you very, very much for bringing the car.
Beautiful.
And we will Biff's got some pictures of it. I know Loopy Tortillas is going to put it on their social media. We'll have it on the In Wheel Time social media as well. Really drew our attention, and car people know what it is. And I'm sure you had a lot of conversations with different people about the car today here. And what a great story of your dad having the car.
Exactly.
And your brother's mirror on it.
Yeah,
great tribute to both of them.
Our next one here at Loopy Tour, bring something else. You might win something else.
Bring something else?
Yeah, bring your next car.
Don't tell your wife you're going to go buy another one to bring it.
We're done putting money into classic cars for a while.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
We
know how that works.
There goes the Buick.
My advice to anybody, if you budget a number, multiply it by 3 or 4. And then you're probably getting in the range of what you're going to spend.
There you go.
So.
Brian, thanks so much.
Okay.
It was a pleasure,
you guys.
man.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. Keep up the good work, guys. You guys do tremendous work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, time now for our lesson in Konrad's Car Clinic. What is the Car Clinic today, sir?
Well, we've been talking the last couple of weeks about how electric vehicles are impacting the world, so to speak, and you listen to some of the politicians that are telling you to get an EV. We talked 2 weeks ago about how your home might not have enough, might not have the ability to charge an EV, and then last week we talked about how the power grid in your neighborhood might not have enough to charge 2 or 3 EVs. Well, today let's talk a little bit about the car itself. Batteries do not make electricity. Batteries only store electricity, and that electricity is produced elsewhere, primarily by coal, maybe uranium, natural gas-powered plants, diesel fuel generators. So to say that an EV is a zero-emissions vehicle is really not true. Since 40% of the electricity generated in the United States is from coal-fired plants, 40% of the EVs on the road are powered by coal. But don't tell those people that; they don't want to hear it. It takes the same amount of energy to move a 5,000-pound gasoline vehicle a mile as it does a 5,000-pound electric vehicle. The only question, again, is what produces the power. So, again, the power comes from the battery, but the battery is only a storage device, just like the gas or the fuel in a gas tank is the power and the gas tank is the storage device. But let's take a look at the electric cars in the green revolution. Let's take a closer look at just the batteries themselves. These technologies share what we call environmentally destructive production costs. A typical EV battery system weighs about 1,000 pounds. And it's going to fill up the trunk, or in some cases they cartridge them underneath the vehicle. But easily half the weight of an EV, a third to a half of the weight of an EV is the battery system. And the typical EV car contains about 25 pounds of aluminum in the battery, aluminum, steel, and plastic. And inside there are over 6,000 lithium-ion cells. The 25 pounds of lithium is needed for the battery packs, 60 pounds of nickel, 44 pounds of manganese, 30 pounds of cobalt, 200 pounds of copper, and 400 pounds of aluminum. That's what it takes to make that battery cell. So if you're concerned about all of those toxic components within the battery, let's talk about where do they come from. Well, to manufacture each EV battery system, you must process roughly 25,000 pounds of brine to produce the lithium in the battery.
Wow.
30,000 pounds of ore for the cobalt. And remember, a couple of months ago, we had the guy on that was talking about cobalt mines in Portugal, Congo, and China. And he was in Spain. He was in Spain. So it takes 30,000 pounds of cobalt ore to produce one battery pack in a car. Also takes about 5,000 pounds of ore to extract the nickel for one battery pack, and 25,000 pounds of copper ore. So in total, you dig up about 500,000 pounds of Earth's crust just to produce one EV battery. You know, you see these pictures online of these big open pit mines.
Yep.
Well, those open pit mines are a reality. 68% of the world's cobalt, which is a significant part of the battery, comes from the Congo, which is what the guy from Spain was telling us. Those mines have no pollution controls. Those mines employ a lot of children who die from handling the toxic materials. Now, we don't even include the cost of those children that are injured from handling those toxic materials in driving an electric car. But remember, that's going green. In addition to other types of batteries that are out there, these lithium-ion batteries are really not recyclable. They're also quite a fire hazard as well. So the question is, what do we do as these cars go into salvage yards to manage the battery waste? You know, when you look at all these other cars that are here that have the lead acid batteries in them or the absorbent glass mat batteries in them, 90+% of today's car batteries are recycled anyhow because people want to get the material out of them. Well, you can't recycle these EV car batteries, and that's going to be a problem in the future. So, yes, going green is something they're trying to force us to do, but is it really green?
Wow.
That's
Good
Konrad's
stuff.
Corner.
There you go. Great.
Something to know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Couple of headlines.
A little depressing.
U.S. customers whose high-end vehicles are now on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean in the burned hulk of the Felicity Ace will all get their orders filled, including 15 out-of-production Lamborghini Aventador Ultimate editions. Felicity Ace caught fire at sea on February 16th in the Atlantic. off the coast of Portugal en route to the United States with nearly 4,000 vehicles aboard, primarily from Volkswagen Group brands. Vessel sank March 1st in rough seas as it was being towed back to port. An Audi spokesman said that the cause of the blaze remains under investigation.
Sure, it sank by accident in rough seas.
Want your car, go
It's
get it.
still on fire. How do we put it out? 3,000 feet under the ocean.
Yeah. Good luck in trying to salvage anything.
You got to
in
go
that.
get it.
Closely watched auto industry forecaster lopped more than 5 million cars off of its projections for global production this year and next, largely due to fallout expected from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. S&P Global Mobility cites the effect that Russia's war is having on the prices of energy and raw materials, expectation for the semiconductor shortage to worsen, and disruptions to the flow of wire harnesses from Ukraine. Suppliers may have issues sourcing neon gas used for chip making from Ukraine, as well as palladium from Russia. The platinum group metal is a base element of catalytic converters, which turn engine exhaust into less toxic emissions. It's only just begun. Renesas Electronics Corporation, a key maker of semiconductors for the global automotive industry, has suspended operations at 3 plants in Japan after a major earthquake hit the country's northeast, triggering a tsunami, causing blackouts and snarling transportation. Renesas said all 3 plants, its Naka, Takasaki, and Yanazawa factories, are near the quake zone, which was centered off the Pacific coast from the city of Sendai. The 7.4 magnitude tremor rattled cities as far away as Tokyo when it struck shortly after 11:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Renesas said it could not say when production might resume at the Naka and Takasaki factories. The company said it had partially resumed production of some test lines at its Yanazawa plant.
Yeah, and that was kind of the same area that Fukushima earthquake was years ago.
Yes.
How scary is that? So I understand, who's the guy from the Titanic? Leonardo DiCaprio had a Bentley that was on that ship that sunk.
Wow. Huh.
Large vehicles are significantly more likely than other vehicles to hit pedestrians while turning, according to an Insurance Institute of Highway Safety study released Thursday. Pedestrian crash deaths increased 59% from 2009 to 2020, when 6,500 pedestrian fatalities occurring that year. When analyzing the crashes, the Institute of Highway Safety found that SUVs, pickups, vans, and minivans cause the largest percentage of crashes at intersections, crashes with human beings.
Huh.
General Motors this year is expected to discontinue 2 subcompact crossovers that were once among its top sellers, the Buick Encore and the Chevy Trax. Do we care?
Well, yeah, Trax is a small vehicle. Tiny.
And I have
So
driven
is the sales volume.
I've driven several of them, and actually it was significant when they first came out, but now, not so much. And on to overcompensated people.
Oh, boy.
Ford Motor Company CEO Jim Farley's total compensation soared 93% to $22.8 million last year. His first full year as the company's chief executive. The increase is largely attributed to Farley's stock awards, which more than tripled to about $16 million. It's kind of along the lines of some of these baseball and football players that are making way too much money. You know, what does that say to America and people that buy their cars and pay these exorbitant prices for some of the vehicles that they're buying?
It all started with the Kardashians.
And it just doesn't make any sense to me. What bad PR is that? I mean, you mean you tell me this one guy has made Ford all of this money? I hardly think so. It's not a one-man band. He's got the board of directors that is his boss, and he's got all of these people working for him,
making decisions that he just basically signs
he doesn't
off
know.
on.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about. I just think it's bad PR.
Yeah, $22 million's a lot of money, but in what they're
just
saying,
one
is,
year,
and not to defend him, but he has a salary, and then he gets bonuses, and I'm sure the bonuses is the biggest part of him. But that's a hell of a lot of money. Where are you going to spend $22 million? He could advertise on In Wheel Time.
That's what I'm thinking.
Contact Jeff at InWheelTime.com. Nice
Nice
hook on
plug.
that. Nice hook on that.
Yeah, I like it. Well, what a great day it's been out here at the Loopy Tortilla. And this edition of the In-Wheel Time Show and Tailpipes and Tacos.
Great turnout.
It was a good turnout. It was just kind of surprising because everybody showed up at exactly 8
8
o'clock this
yeah,
morning, and we're all going, oh, my gosh, are we actually going to make it, or are we not going to make a real – is that some Girl Scout cookies?
No,
Donuts.
I think those are donut holes from the
Sure.
Okay, time to take a quick break now. You're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston March 31st through April 2nd at NRG Center. Featuring 1,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, trucks, customs, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. We welcome everyone to Houston to bid in person, and enhanced online bidding and telephone options make it easy to join the Mecum experience from anywhere in the world. Register to bid now at mecum.com.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Konrads Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In-Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In-Wheel Time Car Talk.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Hey, when you're on our Facebook page, please give us a like. Tell your friends about us if you would. Share our junk if you would as well. You'll get Konrad's Unicorn Hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. There'll be some fun stuff in there too, including upcoming events and other goodies. The In-Wheel Time Car Show is on now 24/7 on iHeartRadio, both online and through the iHeart app. Find us at In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We're still streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11. 30-minute podcasts available from your favorite podcast outlet 7 days a week. The In-Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent and Podcast Editor, Mike Out of This World Mars. And his royalty, King Konrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Today's show is produced by Stan Holt and Loopy Tortilla Drag Racing Incorporated. Be sure to join us again next week for our live In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show from Studio A next Saturday, and we hope that you'll join us then, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Till then, adios, amigo.